Here's our unit question. What impact does China's history have on our world? Last time we were together, we focused on this big question. What impact did the age of Buddhism have on China's history? And then most recently, we focused on this big question. How was Confucianism important to China's government? Remember, Buddhism is a religion. It was started in India and brought to China on the Silk Road because of the Han Dynasty needing peace. So the government felt if they brought Buddhism to the Han Dynasty, it would help bring peace to the people since the religion has a generally calming influence. And then Confucianism is a philosophy. Remember, it was based off the man named Confucius. And Confucius believed that if people modeled the way in which ethical behavior should look, specifically talking about leadership modeling ethical behavior, that a society would run at its best. And so Confucius decided, or I guess the Han Dynasty really decided to employ Confucianism into their government. Han Wudi, one of the Han Dynasty's golden age emperors, um, had a university opened to teach people about Confucianism so that now they're not just putting people into government official places, offices that were friends and family, like they had in the Shang and the Zhou, and we know that did not work. But now in the Han Dynasty, we have educated people on Confucius ideas. In an effort, of course, to help the government run more successfully and, of course, more ethically. And ethics, remember, means proper behavior. Today, we're going to move to our next big question. How did the Yuan dynasty come to be? Let's take a look here at our table of contents. So you should have up through page 19 already in your content section of your binder. Today you're going to get an important facts about Genghis Khan. Both T and G Trek are going to use it, and it's page 20. So at the top, please add our guiding question. The most important fact about Genghis Khan is he conquered many miles of Asia land and started the Yuan dynasty. Genghis Khan is going to come in from Mongolia. He is a barbarian. And if you know anything about barbarians, you know that they're brutal. They often kill for sport. And Genghis Khan has quite a history. So it's not unbelievable that he was barbaric in nature. He was nomadic, so he moved with his tribe of people, but he had the dream to get into China and conquer land. And this will be the first time in China's history that it will be ruled by foreigners. And so Genghis Khan is successful, and he will create a dynasty ruled by the Khan family, which are the Mongolians. Don't forget at the bottom to add your guiding question, but the most important fact about Genghis Khan is he conquered many miles of Asia land and started the Yuan dynasty. And this is page 20. You're going to use the lines in the middle as an active listening sheet. So as you're doing your reading today and as you're watching the videos, you're going to write facts on this active listening sheet today. Page 20. Let's make a vocab card, please, for the word alliance. It's a union formed for mutual benefit, especially between countries. So, for example, if you were on the recess yard and you were trying to end up being one of the last people in the Gaga pit, maybe you would form an alliance with someone, and the two of you would work on getting everybody else out until it was just down to the two of you. And that would be an alliance, a mutual, there's a bond between you for mutual benefit, so a union coming together for a common purpose. So in that example, of course, it would be to win the Gaga pit game. Genghis Khan was not given this name at birth. He was born with the name Temujin, but he was given this name Genghis Khan because Genghis means great and Khan means king. So he was known as the Great King or the Universal Ruler. So as you watch the video today, you're going to take active listening notes about the things that you think are important about Genghis Khan, keeping in mind, though, the most important fact about Genghis Khan is he conquered many miles of Asia land and started the Yuan dynasty. Just wait until you see the Yuan dynasty map. So here's your track split screen. Make sure you either take a screenshot or you pause it here and leave this up and do the work. If you're T track, you're doing the work on the right, and G track, you're doing the red work on the left. Remember your texts. And graphic organizers are all on Schoology as well. So if you didn't come to the classroom to get them because you were absent, remember you can always print them at home or write it down on paper and add it to your binder. G-Track, I'm going to go over the Confucianism graphic organizer with you from last time. So the dominant philosophy in China is called Confucianism, and of course it's based on the teachings of Confucius. His ideas had a dramatic effect on the Song dynasty, and specifically the Song government. Remember, it's not the first time that Confucianism was brought into the government. That's the Han dynasty. But the Song dynasty recognized the power by looking back in history and wanted to bring it back. Confucius's teachings focuses on ethics. That means proper behavior, the way in which people should behave out in society. It was based on two principles, Ren and Li, and Confucius argued that society would function best if people followed his two basic principles. And remember, Confucianism is basic in nature, but hard to practice in daily life. Late in the Tang dynasty, many Chinese historians and scholars again became interested in the teachings of Confucius. And so during the Song dynasty, this was a time of improvement and major changes in the Chinese government. So in addition to Confucianism, China took another step to improve its government, and the workers formed a large bureaucracy. But in this case, the bureaucracy was made up of civil service people. So to be part of the bureaucracy, you had to pass a civil service examination, and we learned that word civil meaning of the state. So the government put together this examination, and it was a test of students' knowledge on Confucianism and related ideas. The students had a strong incentive for passing the exam because they would become what's called a scholar official for life, meaning if they studied, and some students studied for hours and hours, and the test took sometimes 2 days to complete. So it was a huge deal. But the incentive was if you passed the exam, you had a position within the government for the rest of your life, or I guess, of course, until the Song dynasty ended. But it was really an important and prestigious position within the government, and people worked really hard to pass that examination. They had huge incentive to do so. And so the civil service system was a major factor in the stability of the Song government, which is why it was long-lasting and it was achieving. It had many accomplishments during the dynasty. For T-Track, I'm going to go over some of the important facts that you should have gotten out of watching the videos. Remember, only add what you don't have. So he was born with the name Temujin. Later, chieftains named him Genghis Khan, Genghis meaning great, Khan meaning king. He was viewed as revolutionary for establishing a religious freedom within his dynasty. Remember, he's taking over large amounts of land, that there are many religions on the land, so it's not just one. And he himself really doesn't have much of a religion, so he embraces the cultures of the other people of which he's now leading. So despite his barbaric nature, he really was revolutionary because he said you can practice whatever religion you feel is best for you. And Genghis Khan is Kublai Khan's grandfather. Kublai Khan is going to eventually take over the dynasty. All right, and T-Track, you should have this trading card for Genghis Khan. Let's fill him in. When he was born, his name was Temujin. Gaining allies as a great leader, chieftains name him Genghis Khan. Genghis meaning great, Khan meaning king. He brutally conquered miles of Asia land and started the Mongol Empire, known as the Yuan dynasty, and some view him as revolutionary for establishing religious freedom within his kingdom and forbidding kidnapping and slavery. He forbid kidnapping and slavery, of course, because his mother was kidnapped and put into slavery, and he felt that was too barbaric to do that to women, so he stopped that in his dynasty. So there you have the information about Genghis Khan. At this point, G and T-Track, you should be caught up and completing any work that you haven't done so on the split screen.